Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we are about to assemble a desktop PC. This PC is a specific one we are making for one of my friends, and the purpose is to do live streaming, video live streaming. In fact, we would like to do video streaming by connecting around 9 video through the USB ports. So we will be connecting 9 cameras to the PC through the USB ports, and we would like to do a live stream. So that's the purpose of this particular PC. Towards that, we have purchased a specific motherboard. It is from Gigabyte AORUS Elite. So this is the motherboard we are talking about, and this motherboard is having ample number of USB ports. We have specifically collected this as it is having a number of USB ports. Along with this motherboard, we will be pairing an Intel Core i5 chipset. So this is the chip what we are planning to add, or we would like to mount on this particular motherboard. To enhance the video, we are adding a video card. The video card is from GeForce, a GeForce video card, and it is GT 730 with 4 GB of DDR3. The memory is going to be 16 GB crucial memory. This we will be mounting to the motherboard, and the hard disk is M2, and we have Kingston 240 GB M2MB card. So this will be served as our storage device. Next come the power supply. We are using 600 watt power supply, and this is from vMix. So let us open one by one. First we will be opening the motherboard itself. The AORUS motherboard from Gigabyte. So it comes in a tray. So this is the motherboard inside the tray, and in the box we have a sticker from the brand. Then we have a motherboard manual, user's manual, an installation manual. There are some cables, the connecting cables for the hard disk. Unfortunately, we are not using it because we are using M2. Then we have some connectors as well as some cables, some screws for M2, and this is the connecting cable for the front panel. So this we require, keeping it back to the box, and we will be using it in the later stage. Let us open the motherboard itself. Just keeping it down. The motherboard, well covered, well wrapped. You might have seen why I am using this plastic hand gloves. It is to protect the motherboard. That's the reason why I am using it, even it is a bit noisy and a bit inconvenient. Now let me introduce you the reason. As I said, it is having ample USB connections which will be used to connect the video cameras into the PC. The first row is 4 USB ports of USB 2.0 or 2.0. Then we have a DP port, and unfortunately we will not be using this DP port as the video. Instead we will be using our video card. It is having connection from that. After the DP port, we have two USB ports in red color. These red color USB ports are USB 3.2 Gen 2. After that there are three USB ports with blue color. These blue colored USB ports are USB 3.2 Gen 1. Down here we have a USB-C port. Above here we have an Ethernet port which is 2.5 gigabytes. Here we have the audio connections, audio in, audio out, rear, front, and we even have an optical output. So this is about the back panel, and the back panel and its casing is already mounted into the motherboard. It is already fixed, and at the back you can see the heat sinks. Here we have enough heat sinks already mounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 heat sinks already mounted to the motherboard. Coming to the motherboard inside, in the panels we have here at the bottom we have two connectors which will be giving us output for USB 2.0. From the first connector we will get two USB 2 connections, and the second also will give us two 2.0 USB connection. The side here we have another USB connection. This is a USB connection of 3.2, and here another USB port which is a USB-C connector. So if we are using additional cables or cables which come along with the case, we can get additional USBs. As I mentioned earlier in the beginning, my primary concern is using the most or the maximum number of USB buses so that I can get a stable connection, a stable input from my USB cameras or the camera connected to the USB port. If I am using, or if we are connecting more USB cameras to a single bus, that means this is going to be one bus. This is a web bus. So if we are using number of cameras to one bus, it will be overloading that bus. So I would like to spread the load in different USB buses so that we will get a stable connection. Apart from the USB, we have here the power connector. Then we have the front panel connector also here, which we would like to use. And this is the main power connection for the motherboard. In the motherboard, we have 4 rows where we can put our RAMs. Here we will be using one row with a 16 GB crucial RAM. This is the space for the chipset. Here we will be using the Intel i5 10th generation. These 3 are the M2 slots. The first one we will be using, and we will be putting the Kingston M2 over here as our primary hard disk or to load our OS. Below that you can see PCI Express 16, PCI Express 8 and PCI Express 4. If you look at this PCI Express 16 is well secured with steel on the side, and this is the place where we are going to mount our video card. So this is about the motherboard. Let me keep the motherboard aside. Let us see what is there in this box. The Intel chipset. in the Intel motherboard box, we have the i5 chip itself. Then it comes with the cooling fan. Yes, we have the cooling fan. Nowadays, not all the chips comes with cooling fan, but this one is having cooling fan because this chip cannot be overclocked. This is an LA chip which cannot be overclocked, and it comes with its own heatsink. That's a good sign. And its manuals are here. We'll keep it back. And this will be mounted at the time of installation. That will be done later. Then there is no need to open this. Let us open the display card. Yeah, this is the display card. When we open, it is well wrapped, well covered, well secured. Okay. And again bubble wrap. Yeah. And this is our display card. The GT 730 with 4 GB of DDR3. If you look at, we have 3 output or 3 connectors for our VGA output. There is an HDMI 4K HDMI out. There is a 4K DV port, and there is a normal VGA port. So there are 3 ports. 2 are 4K, 1 is a VGA. This will be installed in the later stage once we assemble the PC. And the power supply. Here is the power supply. It's quite heavy. Yeah, this is the power supply. It is 600 watts. It requires 600 watts because we are adding additional video card. The load is given to the motherboard through the USB ports. That also draws some power. So there should be enough power given to the motherboard, otherwise it will hang. So this also will be used the later stage. Next is our assembling part. Now we are going to assemble the entire peripherals and we are going to install it into this cabinet. Let us start the installation of the components. So we have opened the motherboard and going to start installing one by one. First, we are going to install the processor.
അത് സാധാരണ ഇട്ടൂടെ എന്നിട്ട് അത് സൂം ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചാൽ മതി.
സൂം ചെയ്തോ? വേണ്ട, അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്ത കാര്യമില്ല. ഓക്കെ, റെക്കോർഡിംഗ് ആണോ? And this is the processor we just removed from the case, and we are going to install it on the motherboard. When you install it on the motherboard, look at this corner. There is a small arrow and it should come towards this portion. There is an arrow over here. There are one notch here and there is one here. Similarly, there is 2 notches on the both side of the processor bed. And let us just place it in such a way it easily fits in. So it is now fixed, and we are going to keep it placed on the bed, secured. With the lever we can just securely fix it on there. Next come the cooling fan and the heatsink. Before you put the heatsink, check whether and which location we have the fan. So the fan and its cables are coming like this, and we have the CPU fan over here. This is the CPU fan, so it should go here like this. Now I can mount it on this. There are the holes. Yeah, it is sitting properly. Now we are going to punch on this button and take a turn. Yeah, the punch is been done. Yeah, it is going to its locations. It is getting secured here also, and all the places I think it is already secured. Now take a turn. Yeah, now look at the back of it. Has come over all the places. Yeah, here I think it has to come further. Let me try it again. Yes, you can see it has expanded the notches. So by expanding the notches, it is securely fixed. Now the heatsink is properly fixed on the motherboard. And the next is connecting the fan. We are connecting the fan on its slot like this. Yes. Now the fan is also secured. Now we have installed the CPU on the motherboard. The next item is going to be the memory card. Take out the memory. And it is always preferred to put it on the first bay or at the last bay. So I'm just keeping on the first bay. It is marked here. This one is the first bay on this. And looking at the notch here, you should easily fall in. What you have to be careful is on the notch. Press it tight at both the ends. Yeah, with the click sound, it goes in. Next is the card. For that I have to unscrew. We have just unmounted the heatsink of the M2 slot and going to install the M2 MB, the storage device. Yeah, it is nicely falling into the slot, and we should screw it over here. Just taking the screw. Yeah, I have fastened the screw and it is tightly secured. The next is removal of the plastic on the heatsink. Then this notch, there is a notch over here that should go over the notch here, but we have an issue right now is there is a screw over here. So once we place it like this, it will cover that area. So right now we cannot mount the heatsink on top of it. Instead, I'll be mounting this later. For time being, I am keeping the sticker on the top of the heatsink. The next installation is of the Vga card. This also we will mount once the motherboard is placed at the case. Okay. So let us keep it inside the cabinet. Yeah, it has placed. Now we will be screwing it and tightening it into the case. Now we have tightly secured the motherboard to the case. So this is how once we secure all the screws and tighten. It is fastened properly. Now we will be doing the cabling work. So let us do the cablings. Now the power supply cords has to be connected to the various peripherals. By this, we have completed the installation of the computer to the CPU, and our motherboard is securely fastened to the case, as well as the power supply is fixed. The power supply cables are connected to the motherboard. This connector is for the processor power. This is the power for the processor. We have kept the processor and the cooling fan. The RAM is installed, and this is the RAM. We have given the power supply for the motherboard, this one. This cable is the USB 3 connection to the front panel. This is the USB 3 connection, this one. Coming back here, these cables, this one, the first one is for the front panel here. The second one here, this one, the second one is for the front USB port, and the last one over here, this one is for the front panel audio. We have installed the Vga card, the GT 730, and we fastened the heatsink over our M2S SATA hard disk. So this is the time to switch the power supply. We have connected the power is connected, and also we have connected a mouse as well as a keyboard. So about to start the power for the CPU and the power for the display. Now let us switch on the power supply, which is at the top of the CPU. I am just switching it on. Yeah, it started functioning. I can see the lights blinking. The fans, the processor fan as well as the cooling fan, both are functioning. Yes, it's functioning. It started functioning. The lights has come. The brand names has displayed. It is lit. You can see the lights around the board, as well as when we look at, there is the display. Look at the display which has come to the monitor. So we have successfully completed the installation of our new motherboard, and we have made all the components installed on the motherboard. Now the CPU is ready. There are two fans, as you see, one system fan and there is one CPU fan. Both are functioning. The voltages, the frequency, everything is fine. It's looking fine. So this is the BIOS mode of the AORUS motherboard. The next is installation of the OS. I am planning to install Windows 10. So the next screen will be after installing the Windows into the PC. let us install Windows. I'll come back after installing Windows. Now we have completed the installation of the operating system, and we are going to switch on the PC. It started functioning. Let us see what's coming in the display. Display came. The OS has come. I'm just putting the password. It has come up. So now after installation, how this is working, and let me show you a quick walk around the back panel. What all we have in the back panel. I have added 2 more USB slots, external slots. This connection is taken from the motherboard. From this one is connected to the front panel, and the other one is going to the back panel, the colored wire which has come to the back panel. And I have put additional 2 more USB. As I said earlier, USB ports are very important for this particular project. And this is the other end of the PC, and the controls are up. I have connected the mouse as well as the keyboard, dongles at the top, and this is how it looks like. Now let me close the entire PC, then we will have a walk around this is the final version of our PC. The front area, the sides, I'm just turning it, the side, the back panels, and the other side of the PC. Again, the front fascia, and here we have the top where the power switch, as well as there are 3 USB ports, the headphone and the mic in, and a reset button along with 2 LED indicators. So this is the top fascia. Now let us have this PC working for the web streaming.